Downtown Denison has got all that you need. A place where you can bring your whole family. Much entertainment and creativity. Great food, great drinks, it's just the place you should be. We are the birthplace of Eisenhower. Need a place for fun, then look no more. Just meet me on Main, 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 meet me on Main. Just meet me on Main, meet me on Main, meet me on Main, meet me on Main. Meet me on Main, meet me on Main, meet me on Main. You can meet me on Main.
Everybody, I'm Donna Dow. I'm the Main Street Director for the City of Denison, and we have another episode of the Essence of Downtown podcast where we feature our business owners. And we have Michael McKinley today, and we're at North Texas Barbecue Supply, and he's got like just everything you would need to start an outdoor kitchen. But let's welcome Michael.
Thank you, Donna. I appreciate it.
And let's talk about your family business and your history.
Yeah, you bet. We're proud to have my phase of our family business in this location almost 10 years now. And I'll back up 75 years. My dad's father, Billy McKinley, fought in the war. He was a pilot in World War II. He kept being called back in the European theater. He flew 67 missions. And he came back after that, was in the grocery store business for a little while. And then in the Frank and Lola's, well, actually the Lettuce Indulge building, that building, I have young childhood memories of. That was their service parts company, which was an auto parts store. And it was dark and greasy. Cigarettes, it was an old parts store, and they were there until 1983 when my dad had moved back, and he was part of building this business or this building for Service Parts Company, and we had auto parts. Actually, still a couple of the guys from Napa across the street worked for my dad or my granddad. So counting now, we are over 75 years we've had a retail store in downtown.
I love that. Recently we had our downtown awards, and there's so many families that have generations to their stories.
Oh yeah.
So we're really proud of that. I think that's what makes downtown Denison really special.
You bet. I left. I left when I was 18. I wanted to get out of Denison, and I wanted a good business degree. My mom's side of our family, her father was Dr. Don Freeman, and he was the only pediatrician in Denison for 30 plus years. He raised two generations, and probably anybody over 50 or 60 would know who Dr. Don Freeman was. So that was my mom's side, and so I always had a doctor on call for me. And he went to the University of Texas, and he was really my inspiration. I thought I wanted to be a physician, but after really talking to him and other friends that had family practices, they were like, I don't know about this business. So my dad had a small business. He came back, he started what's called Auto Color in Sherman, which he needed to grow the business for it to support our family. So Auto Color was he started, one person built it up to a good size. So that was my inspiration to go. And I got into the University of Texas barely in Austin. And that was I worked real hard the last 2 years of high school to get into UT. So I got in the marketing program, and that's really where I started in marketing, was getting to that really elite program.
Yeah. So you're going to share some marketing tips?
Yeah. So that's one thing I was going to mention, is that since my background really has been the perfect storm for what we live in now, the social media world. I'm going to drop in some tips, my best advice on growing brands, even if you're doing it yourself for small business. So I'll kind of weave that in. And I can mention one good thing that I learned at University of Texas. At the end, I had this incredible teacher, this marketing professor, and he really taught us public speaking, presentation skills, which gives me the ability to do well on camera. I feel like those skills I learned on where he would literally count your uhs and ahs in presentations. And it was very strict. So the number one tip on speaking on camera is that pauses are okay. And you've probably learned that speaking in front of people. You speak in front of a lot of people, Donna. So pauses are okay. People don't mind pauses, but don't start back talking or filling in uhs and ahs. Generally, but don't over analyze yourself. You got to be free. People can tell when you're genuine. So be genuine. Especially nowadays, people can see, what do they say? The hardest thing to do is to be yourself on social media. So, but I think I just didn't, but you can pause. So that's a good tip.
Yeah, I'm self-conscious about it now.
Yeah, it helps. And you hear our two number one employees
Let's talk about them.
in our store. So Leo was the first, and we always say that Leo is our CEO. He does have rules on the wall, which is no politics, no religion, no negotiating, and always be nice. So we say, and that's his wife, Ruby. And we'll make this quick, but they were married at Dog. They both were adopted from Denison Animal Welfare, and we love them down there. But we have their mural on the front window. So over our last 10 years, people come by just to see Ruby and Leo. And I always say that Leo makes all the big decisions in the store, but they probably will bark, and especially if you're a UPS driver or they don't like bicycles. She doesn't like bicycles, but nobody's going to sneak up on me.
Didn't they get married at our Bark and Paws event?
They did.
With Dog?
Yeah, they did. They were married, and they had a wedding dress and a tuxedo. So it's official. And so like a lot of couples, they have their own space, Ruby kind of keeps an eye on things, and she calls up Leo when, something important happens. So we're proud to have our association with Dog.
Well, so now you said you've been in business 10 years.
Yes.
And one thing, you might talk about how you started and what you specialized in, and
Sure.
then how it's grown, but also, the COVID story.
Oh, yeah. So I really was inspired early on to, now you see all these people that are the gurus, and I'll even talk about some of my number one really folks, either they're podcasters or influences. But when I was in high school, I read Awaken the Giant Within, Tony Robbins, which that was the really beginning of that really they've always had similar, but now you can really learn. And that's another tip. You can learn so much from podcasts. And, it's, if anybody in media knows the name Gary Vee, and Gary Vee is Vanderchuck Media he now has 1,000 employees, but I only listen to podcasts of people that have built and scaled businesses. And so Gary Vanderchuck is almost a roadmap for you learning your own social media strategy, because he's so hands-on. But the key is he's not trying to sell you anything. He'll give you a roadmap on how to build your own brand. He's inspirational. It takes a little bit of getting used to his voice, but if you go to digital marketing agencies, he's awesome. So that in itself can give you inspiration. He is always about 3 years ahead of what's going on, and he's preaching live shopping, whatnot, Facebook Live. I'm sorry, TikTok Live shopping. And I agree. If you can be regimented, that's another tip, is post. So the thing about social media is that it's free. It's
Mm-hmm.
dependent
Yeah.
on the users. So they will give the users that are consistent the best results. And we are in a day and age where creative wins. You don't have to have followers. It's not just an email blast. If you have good creative, you don't need to advertise. People are spending more on organic than ever. So it's amazing. I used to advertise more. I really don't. Our creative's so good. I get the millions of views or the views I want without paying for it. So you got to do it consistently because that's the whole point. And don't be overcritical. Just do it every day. There's people that are very successful. They still do it every day.
Yeah.
And so I might even move her. Give me one sec.
She may be telling us to change the subject or something.
I agree.
Well, you can see while we're looking here in the background that he's just got all kinds of tools, gadgets. Tell us about
Yeah,
them.
I'll tell you how I got here. And I'll tell you the COVID story. Excuse me. So this is what we have come to with our outdoor kitchens and the supply. So to back up just a little bit, in my 20s, I started a digital photo business when I was 27, where I learned digital photography. This was right at 2000. And so that was the first real business I started. And even when I worked in other jobs, I always had a side hustle. I have inventions, I've marketed, I've done a lot of trade with China on developing products, and I still have products I've developed. And right before COVID, when I started this in this building, it was called eCell Services. I had not landed on barbecue. We would sell stuff for people. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
And so in that time, somebody came to me and they're like, we need help getting our products out online. And that's one of my specialties. So it was a sprayer where you disinfect spaces quickly. This was a year and a half before COVID. And so I set up, I thought it was cool, and I looked at trends, and every 2 or 3 years there was a bad flu season. So one winter I set up a full website. It was called Avert 360 Infection Solution. So that was a year before COVID hit. And we can't, I don't want to get into all the COVID stuff, but basically when COVID hit, I had a $5,000 sprayer that was one of a kind on the market, and I was selling it online, and it went crazy. And we had got certified in infection prevention, so I knew all the chemicals. I knew the difference between a virus and bacteria and all the things. And I all of a sudden, it was crazy. I sold guns to the military. I sold them to resorts all over the world. I had an incredible summer. That summer was crazy, but we couldn't deliver them all. There was not enough product. So I at one point had an attorney on retainer because people were coming after me. It was an incredible experience. I was talking to big investors. I had Clorox coming wanting to buy me, and it was crazy, but I just knew it wasn't sustainable.
Yeah.
And during that time, I shifted. I had started this barbecue supply business. So we'll go back to that. When I started that in 17, I found I was playing golf with a guy that had a pellet grill. And by the end of that day, he had talked about it. He was a fanatic. And I thought, pellet grill, what is that? So I had kind of an online consignment business in here, which we did really well, but it was a lot of work. We were on eBay. It's really before Facebook Marketplace came about. And so we would sell stuff. We sold cars, we sold jewelry. But I knew I wanted to find something that I could repeat. And I brought in the pellet grills. I had kind of done barbecue in college days. I had friends in the business. I had a guy that was kind of on TV doing these pitmaster shows.
Mm-hmm.
So I called him up and I was like, look, we might have something here. The pellet grills were just kind of getting hot. And my dad had sold his company. So I had this building. Actually, I had a building in Sherman and I had the building in Denison. They were both empty because he had sold his company. And I had the choice between which one was on Lamar, which is, right by the county jail. And then I had this building, and this building needed a lot more work. But I just love the idea of being next to this park and, being in Denison. But
so you're talking about Forest Park and of course Munson Stadium.
sure.
So if you look out the front window, the beautiful windows, you've got that great view.
Oh, it's awesome. And I always just appreciate this being here because I've lived in the bigger cities and I have almost a private park to be in, and it's almost surreal sometimes. But the progress we've made, and I have to say, I don't have time to get on my personal social media that much, but I am going to take this platform to say that I think downtown looks great. I'm so pleased from our perspective because the hardest thing is to get people to come here.
Yeah.
And, we are depend on walk-in traffic. And it's amazing when somebody discovers Denison, how much more money they spend when they are coming through town. Or, we have people that it's a destination for them. Mm-hmm. So for me to go down there and have such a nice meal at Emily's, and we had a dinner at the Chop 10 years ago, we didn't have that. We had Watson Burger, Whataburger, and Jack in the Box. That was it. Maybe Taco Bell. But it was, a lot of pawn shops. The hotel had a lot of activity. It was not, and we are so close to that being done. The bricks look great. So anyway, I do stand up for downtown's progress. And I feel like that is for our businesses to be able to create more opportunity for jobs and for everything. So it's all about the businesses, in my opinion, because when they go away, we lose our downtown.
And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to tell the story. I mean, everybody has their own story that's amazing, and you put them all together, and you've got what we have in downtown Denison. And so we just want to share that.
Yeah, I think it's such great progress. So during that COVID thing, we made some money during that time, and I see my notes and I started writing down this outdoor kitchen stuff. And I've always done taken on projects in the business. So the last 5-6 years, I've used all my skills from my corporate background and also my marketing to go into outdoor kitchen design and go after really contractors that do new home builds. One of the all-star salesmen at Main Street Lumber, Aaron, has been so great. He has done so well with that company, which that's a cool story. And what's cool is the Pools, Charles Poole, Chuck Poole, the one of the operating brothers, the older brothers, he was best buddies with my dad. And then Charles Poole is my age, and we were lucky to get him back because that is a great business. And I've partnered with them in certain ways to go after a lot of their big time clients. I have to go outside. I've got Grayson County. I do a lot of great stuff here. We have 12 outdoor kitchens at Tanglewood, but we're working even with big time homes in Frisco. And part of the reason is that I felt like in outdoor kitchens, so our barbecue supply, we focus on Texas competition, what the pros use. And we only sell quality equipment, focus on American-made stuff, because the real reason people buy from us is they can come back and get help. And we're going to not only show them how to use it, we're going to be there for the lifetime. Even after warranties, we're going to help them. So from a pellet grill to a gas grill to a seasonings, we're giving the old school service that you would get with my parents' generation.
Right.
50 years ago, you go into any store, you've got a man store, and you got a guy that's helping you. And I think that's what Denison has, that you can't get that at Home Depot or Target. You're left alone. And that really inspired me to give service. But I've got to sell quality stuff because I don't hear from them if it was good stuff. So coming back to the outdoor kitchen stuff, I'm really good at co-branding my marketing. And the girl that worked with me, Bailey, for years, slowly has done the marketing and taken over our duties. And we started a marketing agency several years ago. Well, it's her, she's the founder, and I help, and we've helped the builders. We're working with different companies, but she grew up in Howell, and she and I have the systems in place. I have a team of, I call them ninjas. So the 4-Hour Work Week is a book that came out 20 years ago, but Tim Ferriss is brilliant. But I read that, and I use what I call my ninjas, or your virtual assistants, but I use Fiverr or I use People Per Hour. And but you can get a lot of quality work with people as a virtual assistant. And so I use those tools from that 4-Hour Work Week. That's a great book that you can learn how to outsource tasks.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we have this, what's called Raiden Marketing, RaidenMKT.com. So we're about to, I think, have 2 new clients in this area. And so if they sign up with us, I sit down and not only talk about social media, but basically we give it a stress-free social media management, the whole thing, different levels. But I sit down with the owner and talk about their whole marketing strategy and just give them some consulting or some direction. And then we can help them with consistent social media. So that's exciting to me to think about. We have a client in Florida, they're roofers. And so all the fun ideas with using AI, we're adapting AI big time.
Yeah.
I use it constantly. That's awesome. Not only, but with graphic design too, Nano Banana. I'm able to do renderings from my backyards. So, and so
kitchens,
the outdoor kitchens, this space, I'm sorry.
They're excited about that outdoor kitchen.
I know, it's bicycles. So this space is an outdoor kitchen design center. And we design kitchens in real time. We have software. So you see all the grills behind us. So from a very small unit, so our big thing that gives us a lot of range are these modular kitchens. And you can see they really look like indoor cabinets.
Right.
And they can be customized to color. These are smaller ones that are just a turnkey outdoor kitchen. They're weather sealed. They're instead of building out of brick and stone, which we design those too. So we work with a lot of contractors and builders. One local pool folks in Denison is All Pro Pools. Incredible work. We'll plan out that part of the project.
Yeah.
And a lot of builders, if you are building a new home, it's so common that outdoor kitchen gets kind of pushed to the back. It doesn't get budgeted for, and you really need us to bid early to plan ahead. People are building less indoor and making their patio bigger now. You can put the screens on there. You can, but what I really think what we do, whether it's just a gas grill with a griddle topper on it, that's an outdoor kitchen in my mind. So whether it's outfitting you, I pride myself on finding what fits you and your family. So it could be a grill and a griddle. It could be something very simple, but we're creating outdoor cooking it's the most important part of your your area. Everybody hangs out.
Yeah.
If you've got the cook out with your people, so that's instead bringing it all together. So that's what I'm proud of. I've got my initials in my logo, so ultimately that's my mark. When I have, and so from NTX BBQ Supply, when we went into working with builders, we created Majestic Outdoor Kitchens, and that's really our design. We needed something that described what we're creating. So that's what I'm excited about. I play golf at Tanglewood, and I see people hanging out in these outdoor kitchens, and I'm proud of that. So it's really satisfying when those come together.
Yeah. So we have some spices.
Yes.
And so you've got a large selection of supplies for the outdoor kitchen, but a great selection of spices.
You bet. So our wall of flavor, we call it, which we are really the only place in Texoma where you can sample stuff before you buy it. But we have a pro on staff, whether it's me, I've got guys that are way above me that worked in top like pit masters at Hutchins Barbecue. I've got a guy that's in here. So we can help you with a selection, whether it's a seasoning, a spice, a technique, but better wood fuel. We have, your pellets, your charcoal, your wood logs, and then we can help you with olive oils. And we can talk about even our olive oil comes from Central Texas. And, really, I'll give you my number one, like marketing sales kind of tip as far as the way I sell stuff. And to me, there's really different levels of market. If you do marketing right, I'm trying to answer all the questions for somebody before they even come in here. If you do marketing right, you don't even need to sell. So give people information, give. Make every post where they're going to get some value out of it. It's always hard. Gary Vee says, jab, 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 hook. You might jab, just give, and they know what you do. People are smart. So if you can give advice, everybody knows something. They can, that's really, and so the best salespeople tell stories. So pretty much from my number one grill brand has the engineer on the wall. I talk about the story of how he moved from the Philippines, and he's the best gas engineer in outdoor cooking. So we talk about that even with our rubs. We've got these folks, they're out. Frazier, his grandfather, Daryl's grandfather, won with these recipes, and they're out of Van Austin. Small batch, perfect for us. We do sell small batch, which I do have some of their stuff. They're local, they're great. So I work with some of the farmers market brands too. So it's nice to have a place they can send people. I put these guys, these guys are out of Denton. You had mentioned Meat Church, and Meat Church gets so much press, but these are real competition people that are on the road. I mean, they've been on the road for 30 years. They won a world steak. This is called Rib Rangers World Steak. So we give credibility if they've won contests.
Yeah, you've got it on your wall.
And I can't talk about a seasoning if I don't mention Brisket Magic. We sell more Brisket Magic than anything else in the store. This comes from my Central Texas days. When I was in Austin area, I would go to these competitions. And so Central Texas barbecue is no sauce. Sauce is an insult. So this is our number one seller. And I got to mention Damon Butler's brand. He's near Frisco, McKinney, but he went to Denison. And this is Triple B's. It's his three daughters. And I am addicted to this stuff. It is so good. So Damon's a local boy, and those are just a few of our brands. But yeah, tell the story. Everybody, and that's where we're going in marketing. Everybody's producing some type of entertainment, and we're going to get really creative. One of my friends from college that worked for Saturday Night Live has done hilarious sketches. So we're thinking about bringing some almost like, funny little sketches into our storylines. And so this is, you could probably tell I could talk another hour, but we won't want to go too long. How are we doing on time?
See, we've been talking for a while.
Okay.
So let's talk about, you said here you can design your own kitchen, and you do podcasts or some stories from here.
Well, absolutely. This is all of our stuff, and we're moving even more towards making the lighting better for even live stuff. But the videos, this is all set up for content. And so I've worked with my manufacturers. They get a lot more brand awareness beyond what we benefit. So they give me discounts. They give me they're sending me equipment. I get
to try out.
When just here you go. And so we've really been able to look a lot bigger than we are. And when we post something, we've got software, it goes out to all the platforms. Oh, I've got another tip. So everybody is talking to chatbots. And so the people, if you know SEO, search engine marketing is always where people have focused, which we do, but for Google placement, because most people use Google forever to look up. So people are now going, if somebody goes, hey, I need some new shoes in Denison, how do you get the chat to say your name? So since Google is owning this space with Gemini, and Apple is about to use Gemini in their, you want to look at Google owns YouTube, and YouTube has shorts, and shorts beyond all of our media, we get more views on shorts. So a lot of that data mining for the chat bots are going to come from YouTube, which is Google, which is YouTube Shorts.
So you do a lot of social marketing and things like that. Where can they find you?
So the agency, you know us here, NTX BBQ is our main page, Majestic, but Raiden, MKT, we've got Facebook. I'm helping Bailey's the founder, and we're looking for a few more clients. We're looking to add some, but in certain fields. So the base thing is at least one post a day, and you'll get so much benefit. So I see these companies still doing billboards, which is not the same as it used to be. Even, and I'm not going to say negative about any of doing TV, but TV, radio, and billboards are not as effective as they used to be because people are looking at their screens. And even during a sporting event, or even when you're home watching the news, you're looking at your phone. So I preach how social media is so undervalued if it's done properly, and it can be done if you just are consistent, and you really, what we call our marketing pillars, are you have some pillars, and it's generally creating value. If you're trying to sell a roof, you're going to give them things that they will give them information. And one of the last things another tip is, it is so easy to put stuff on your personal page because you already maybe have hundreds or 1,000 plus followers. But the whole goal, your friends are warm leads, but they're going to know generally what you're going to do. And I try to keep it maybe once a year, I'll put a post on personal, but build a business page. Your grandma and your aunt are going to like everything, but your friends are going to eventually tune out. Your whole goal is to find new customers, not people you already know. And so get a business page and work off of that. And it will take a little while, but it's all in the weeds. You got to keep doing it, and do it once a day, do it twice a day, but get a business page in mind. That just, you'll find people that are truly interested in your business, and that's how you can harvest customers.
And I think you said at the beginning, be real, be yourself. and you know, people will want to know what you have to say.
Yeah, and you can't have a perfection in anything. You know, Facebook founder, he always said, run and break stuff. Like, if you have an idea, put it in motion. I, Even Jeff Bezos, it's all about testing ideas. And so, if I can test ideas without losing too much, then you know. But you don't really know. And even on these social media things, don't overanalyze. Don't be a perfectionist. Put it out there, because gosh, not everybody's or being critical of you. People are in their own world, and so if you told your same story every day for a year, they're not. You could tell your founder story. Everybody has a story. Tell it over and over again. People aren't going to get tired of it. You don't be too hard on yourself. You know.
Yeah. Well, we've had a good time tonight, and we appreciate you sharing your story with us.
Well, I appreciate you, Donna. You've been here, and we need somebody to be consistent. I feel like that's a big part of Denison is you and doing stuff like this. And so I appreciate you, Donna.
Well,
and
we're proud to help you. We've got a great staff at the Main Street department.
You bet.
And so they've just made us all better.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good group, and we're going the right direction.
That's right.
Thanks for this opportunity.
Well, thank you for being with us, and I hope you enjoyed all the tips. And so we will
take or leave it.
Yeah. We will see you next time. That's a wrap.